Good evening, Fernwood. It is your freshly napped friend Neil here, and it's time for us to not sleep on this rerun season episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Yes, it is rerun season, which is the time between season 1 and season 2 where new fans and old get to look at some of the episodes that maybe didn't get the attention that they should have. We will be watching today Friday, January 16th, 1976's episode. That's episode 10 of the show. And maybe let's take some time to know who the families in this neighborhood are, and then we'll get started. The first family of this series are the Hartmans, and that's Mary Hartman and her husband, Tom. Mary is quintessentially a housewife, which is to say that she is fairly obsessed with the appearance of her home and how it looks, and doing her best to cook for her family and all of that stuff. She has not been getting the sexual attention that she wants. And in the first episode of the series, she expresses to Tom verbally that she hasn't been touched by him sexually in 5 weeks. And hey, time moves very slowly in soap operas like this, but we can tell that that is a long time for Mary. She has been doing her best to get education about sexuality. She's been going to her favorite hangout spot, the Fernwood Library, and typically will ask for sexual information, although it's almost always for a friend. And when I say almost always, it's always for a friend. She has been reading these books with her sister Kathy, who maybe marvels at the information that she's presented with. Well, Mary's got a lot to learn for sure. On the other end of the stick, there's Tom Hartman, who really appears to feel some amount of shame and anger at his own erectile dysfunction. And even though erectile dysfunction is not named outwardly, of course the phrase didn't come about for at least a decade, but even the word impotence is not used, it's really very clear that that's what's going on here. In any case, Tom comes upon a pile of books that Mary has left behind in the kitchen, and his response to that is to angrily throw them at the wall. He is feeling attacked and mortified and angry, and there's some discussion that maybe needs to happen between Tom and Mary. The third person in that household is Heather Hartman, who is, if you were to ask me, she's kind of a monster. However, Heather happens to know the identity of the mass murderer who killed the Lombardi family, and that means that she is at this moment under police guard. She has been getting threatening phone calls that are freaking out Mary, and she kind of blows it off in a way, but also she tends to blow off very important things quite a bit. However, she is in fairly deep trouble at this point, so we'll see what happens there. Next door to Mary and Tom are the Shumways, who are Mary's parents and also Kathy's parents. That would be George and Martha. Kathy also lives there, as well as Grandpa Larkin, who is known in town as the Fernwood Flasher from the first episode. He has been getting into trouble for flashing around town, and that means that he has to go to seek counseling, and that puts Grandpa Larkin in touch with a young lady called Roberta Wallachek, who is not only his counselor, but appears to be Grandpa Larkin's girlfriend. Another pair of neighbors who don't show up quite as often are the Fetters, and that is Leroy and Blanche Fetters. Blanche is the town busybody. She does her best to protest every single event that she can. Leroy is the coach at the high school. Really, he's just an angry guy. He's just angry. And finally, we've got Loretta and Charlie Haggers, who finally were able to put together the money for the recording session that Loretta needs to make a demo reel. The recording session is fairly chaotic, with people showing up to interrupt every few minutes. Tom and Mary show up together. Kathy and her beau of the day show up and make out in the seating area. May Olinsky, who is a friend from the factory that Tom and George and Charlie work at, shows up with her date and gives a little bit of attention to Tom at this point. Mary seems fairly jealous, but Tom doesn't seem too interested at this point himself. The recording session ends with final bit of chaos, which is that Loretta faints away for some undescribed reason. And that's pretty much all the things that I think you need to know before we watch Friday, January 16th, 1976's rerun episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Let's do this.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman!
Miss Hartman, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your daughter is missing.
Damn, the line's busy. Boy, she talks more on that phone than any two women alive.
Are you finished here?
Yeah.
You talking to Mary, huh?
Yeah.
Tell her about the bomb scare?
No. Tell her I wasn't coming home after work.
Oh.
What do you mean, oh?
Oh, just what I said. Oh.
Who the hell are you to say oh to me like that? Who are you?
I'm your best friend, Tom.
Best friends don't say oh like that, Charlie.
Oh, come on, Tom. Even a rock could tell that there's something going wrong between you and Mary. Oh, Jesus, it's busy. She's probably talking to Blanche Fetters.
All right, Charlie, sit down a minute. What do you mean, even a rock? Sit down, I want to talk to you. I mean, wait a minute. You said oh like you could guess what's going on between me and Mary. What do you mean by that?
Let me ask you something, huh? Yeah, I mean, I'm not attacking you. You know, I'm just asking as your friend.
Will you stop calling me your friend and tell me and answer my question, damn it?
Damn, now I don't have a dial tone. Gee,
Damn it, Charlie, will you answer me? Come here. Sit down. I want you to tell me about my problem. Come on, tell me. You owe me that. Come on.
All right. I don't see you racing out of here with the gleam in your eye in the evening. I don't see you coming in here late for work because you and Mary never got around to breakfast even. And now you're not even going home. And for what? To have some beer with some guy in some place or play pool with Fatty Kirkle from the loading dock?
Hey, Charlie. Let me ask you a question. Does it never feel like you just ain't got it anymore? I mean, it's not like I'm not interested, you know. It's just that, I mean, me and Mary, it's just we're missing someplace. You know what I mean?
Okay, boys. We can all get back on the lines now.
Oh, they found a bomb, huh?
False alarm. Nothing went off, and that's what we found, nothing. You know what I think? One of those strike committee hotheads put us up to this.
But the bomb squad is gone, huh, George?
Yeah, for the time being, but nothing will change. Wages can't keep up with inflation.
What do you know about inflation, George?
It makes a dollar bill look like a postage stamp.
I don't know. I just don't know. God knows I try.
I think it's going to be cold.
My mother always said if you keep a neat house and cook wholesome meals, that the good Lord will look after everything else.
Our house is neat, but you should see Marjorie McCann's house. Her house is so neat that you can eat off the floor, which is what you have to do because her mother won't let you sit on the furniture.
And I watch your father's cholesterol now that I know what it is. I don't think my mother understood the good Lord, or else he lost the address for this house.
Now, should I be warm or should I be sexy? Warm. Chuck will just have to suffer.
First little Heather missing.
She's not missing. She just hasn't come home. Maybe she'll be like me.
Kathy, that's not funny. She's only 12 years old. She's sweet and shy, and I hope she stays that way always.
I need new shoes.
And to top it off, I got this letter today from the judge's office.
They're not going to send Grandpa to jail.
It says, unless you go for your psychiatric counseling sessions, that they send you to jail.
They'll send another letter. Everybody knows that those people just love sending letters telling you what you didn't do before.
Then they send you to jail.
Do you think I should change the color of my nail polish?
Oh, Kathy, for goodness sakes. Our whole family is falling apart at the seams. Your father's having bomb scares at his plant. Your little niece missing. God knows where she is. And you're talking about nail polish.
She's probably just hiding over at a friend's house. I mean, the way you all pick on her, just because she's quiet, slow.
Well, she is quiet. You know, I think watching television is affecting her hearing. I know it's affecting her eyesight. Stop that. Are you going to stay for supper?
Can't.
Oh, I wish you would. I'd appreciate it, what with my father being accused of sexual delinquency and all.
Now, Mother, my staying home is not going to keep Grandpa out of jail. Or is it going to bring Heather home? Or is it going to stop Mary from worrying about Tom? So why shouldn't I go out?
Why? You ask why?
Yes, why?
Well, to come to think of it, I don't know why. But my mother always said...
That's why nobody ever listened to her, because Grandma Grace was always saying, listen, tragedy strikes everybody. I mean, if you just think about it, like Janet Springer, who broke her nose while she was being baptized, and now she has to face bone surgery. So you just can't think about those things.
I suppose.
Listen, don't worry about anything, okay? Okay? I'll be home soon, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Have a good time. I hope Chuck appreciates her as much as I would. Pa! Pa! What kind of vegetables do you want for dinner? Pa! He's not there. Nobody's here. God, you don't seem to understand. I have a nice dinner already, almost ready to go onto the table. I did the vacuuming today. And our address is 4309 Radnor.
Loretta Haggers, I'd know you anywhere.
What?
Oh, absolutely. My husband and I have heard you at the Rosemont Bowling Lane.
You have?
Oh, well, not actually heard you, but I seen your picture tacked up on the bulletin board next to the league standings. Oh, we're on the Fernwood Sugar Bowlers. You guys get that? Because the scores are so sweet. Oh, I'm Nurse Pudden. It's so good to meet you.
Well, it's nice to meet a fan.
Oh, listen, Loretta, could I please have your autograph? Just
You want my autograph?
please.
She wants an autograph.
Yeah, honey.
Just make it to Rosalie.
Rosalie, right.
Oh, great. You know, I think I have heard a note or two of yours between balls, and I've loved them.
Thank you.
Well, to business. Listen, could I please get you to fill out these forms for me? There's company health insurance and personal history and prescription reimbursement and one for me because I'm kind of nosy. Oh, gee. Well, here you go. Thank you so much, and the doctor will be with you just as soon as he can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
It's
Thank
nice,
you.
nice to meet a fan.
Take care.
I know. That's neat. Oh, boy, there sure are a lot of things to fill out for somebody that don't have nothing wrong with them.
Well, it's not so hard. You know your own name, don't you?
Not very good at this. All right, let's see. Full name. All right, that'd be Loretto, Billie Jean, Suzanne, Antoinette. One will fit, Charlie.
Well, squeeze it, honey. I wonder what... Can't find my social security number.
Bowers, Canlis, Haggers. All right, age. Oh, I think I'll put down what my mama used to always say, which was, if you don't tell them the truth at the beginning, then you don't have to lie to them at the end. That won't fit. All right, let's see. Her. Does yours have hair?
Yeah.
Fill in partial.
No, I gotta write going, gone.
Scalp! I'm gonna put natural dawn, because, you know, it's a teeny bit lighter than it was.
I don't have any concentration here. Now, Charlie?
You know why? Because I'm talking so much, because I'm nervous, because I'm at the doctor's, because I'm afraid of what he's going to find out. You know, Sandy, on that show, Way Into Our Heart, she went in just to check a little postnasal drip, found out she had incurable nerve disease.
Mrs. Hagers. I'm Dr. Furman, if you'll come with me, please.
Charlie, this may be the first thing you've ever done to make me real mad at you.
Go on with it, honey. Listen, honey, I'll just fill out these forms. And while the doctor checks you out.
Don't worry. I'll take good care of her. Now, that wasn't so hard, Mrs. Hagers, was it?
I know it wasn't hard because I didn't have to do anything. What I want to know is what you was doing. He wouldn't tell me what he was doing.
Well, he's the doctor, honey.
I know he's the doctor and I'm the patient, which is why I think I have a right to know what's going on.
Now, Mrs. Hagers, didn't you say when you first came in here you didn't think it was such a big deal?
I still don't. But he took all them tests. He kept taking all these tests and just going,
Now, look. Look, I don't want you to get excited and raise your blood pressure.
He's making me raise my blood pressure because he won't tell me what it is. It's probably some incurable nerve disease.
I'm sure it isn't.
Does that mean it might be?
Look, it means I want Mrs. Hagers to go home and relax. And I'll tell you what we find out just as soon as the lab reports come in.
What is it you're looking for? That's what I want to know.
How come you have to send the thing off to the lab?
Now, there's the proof right there, you see? The patient tries to play doctor and have all the answers and just winds up frightening himself.
Herself, I'm a her.
Of course you are, and a very attractive her, if I may say so.
Thank you, I'm in show business.
But a her who should be home and taking it easy.
Well, why should she be taking it easy if there's nothing to worry about?
Because doctor says.
Miss Wallachek?
Hi. Yes?
I'm Raymond Locke, and I don't know if you remember, but you came over to our house.
Yes, I remember coming to your house.
But I couldn't see you that day.
No, you had locked yourself in the bathroom. Oh, please sit down.
After you.
No, the patient. The client's supposed to sit first.
I'm not a patient.
Oh, no, you're sweet. You're here.
Ladies first.
No, you don't understand. I'm not a lady. I'm an MSW.
MSW? Mighty sweet woman?
Master of the social welfare. I have my master's in social welfare. As you can see, I have all these papers on my desk, so if you'll just sit down, we can continue.
Continue what? I just got here.
Continue our relationship, our doctor-patient relationship.
You said I was a client.
Oh, yes, that too. If you'll please sit down.
I'm not staying.
You're not?
No, I came to apologize.
I'm with a patient.
Client.
Client. If you just sit down for a minute.
I was apologizing.
Oh, yes, of course.
Not that I have anything to apologize for, but you see, Martha got this letter from Judge Stanley's office.
You remember Judge Stanley?
Of course I remember. What do you think I am, senile?
Oh, no, I know you're not. That's why I'm here. Hey, if I sit down, will you sit down?
Together?
1,
Two.
3. Well, you were saying about Judge Stanley?
No, I was saying about Martha, who got a letter from Judge Stanley.
Oh, I didn't want to write that. I hope you understand.
You're Judge Stanley?
No, my report to Judge Stanley. My incomplete report on your counseling sessions. Well, it was incomplete because you were...
Rocked in a junk.
Exactly. Hey, I didn't want to turn you in. I didn't want to get you in any trouble. It's just that there was no other way, don't you see, to see you again. To finish my report without seeing you again. So, that's why they wrote you the letter.
To Martha.
Who's Martha?
My daughter. I live with Martha and her husband, what's his name?
You have trouble remembering your son-in-law's name?
Only on purpose.
I see.
But you see, I don't want to get Martha in any trouble.
Martha's your daughter?
Yeah. Do you have trouble remembering names?
No, of course not. Can't you see all these papers on my desk? I'm very competent. I'm licensed.
I believe you.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah, I got a little rheumatism in my left hip.
Oh, you know, my grandfather had rheumatism. He was the sweetest man. He brought me up.
Up to what?
That's enough talk about me. We're supposed to be talking about you.
Except I didn't make an appointment.
Oh, it's okay. Look, I'm busy. Who? Okay. Look, just tell her to wait for a few minutes. Okay, just as... Look, that's my 6 o'clock appointment, but I was thinking...
Swallow-Jack, they told me to wait, but I'm your 6 o'clock, and it's 6 o'clock. I told them they must have made some mistake. Who's that?
That's Mr. Larkin.
Raymond.
Oh, I'm Fanny Crickshank. Are you crazy, too?
Crazy?
Miss Crickshank, Mr. Larkin's mind is sound as a dollar.
Well, like they say, honey, welcome to the club. I'm pixelated. That's my sister's word. I live with her. Who do you live with?
My daughter and son-in-law.
I lived with Mike for 30 years. Never said boo. Just clean the house and slave. Unpaid labor. Just for the privilege of having someplace to sleep. Well, who needs it? That's what I finally realized and set fire to the service porch.
You didn't.
Boy, oh boy. Sure is quiet in here, isn't it? I thought a lot of the guys from the plant came over after work, you know, and had a couple of beers, but... Try to get Fatty Kirkle to play me a couple of games of pool. You know Fatty Kirkle? He's a big fat guy. No, I didn't think you'd know him. He wins a lot of pool tournaments. Probably just as well he didn't show up to probably beat the pants off me. Boy, oh boy. Sure is dead in here.
Hello. Whiskey. Straight up. Oh. Hi.
Hi, May. Well, I guess it's just the two of us.
The two of us what?
In here.
Oh, yeah. I don't usually. I mean, come into a bar.
Neither do I.
I know, I've never seen you here before. I mean, I figured you just went straight home after work and you never stopped off with the guys for a few.
Yeah. Listen, do you mind if I join you?
Oh, huh? No. That way we don't have to talk so loud. Should I ask you what you're doing here, or would that be a tactless question?
Well, you can ask. I just didn't feel like going home. Home to dinner, that's all.
Yeah. I know the feeling. Of course, with me, it's just a boiling bag of a TV dinner. That's how I stay so thin.
Well, you got an apartment someplace, don't you?
Yeah, that's where it is. Someplace. You know, when I got home from work tonight, the TV was in the repair shop, the phone was out of order, and the waste disposal garbage drain was jammed, and so I just broke down and cried for about 20 minutes, and then I decided to come here. Now that I've told you my sad story, you want to come up and see my jammed waste disposal or my busted TV? Or we could go up and watch the horizontal flip and the waste king grind.
Yeah, I could take a look at it if you'd like. I mean, I'm good at things.
Are you?
Yeah, at fixing things.
You know, you're really a sweet guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
my place.
keep it.
Hey, I just want to say something. You know how the guys all joking about me at the plant.
Well, that's just
well,
the
I don't
guys,
come
you
in
know.
here all the time. I mean, I don't. I mean, you know, my meeting here was just an accident.
I know.
And I'm asking you up to shoot the breeze or whatever because, well, you look like you've had a rough day. And I've had a rough day.
I know. I want to tell you something, too.
Yeah.
You know I'm married
To your wife, right?
to my wife. Does it make a difference?
Sure. It makes a difference. But, like they say, nobody's perfect.
So that there is episode 10, the end of the second week of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. And there's a lot of stuff going on all the way through this series. It starts with Tom, and it ends with Tom as well, but it starts with Tom asking... He's very much questioning exactly what's going on in his relationship. Now, I don't believe that Tom makes the right choice at the end. I think it's a pretty huge mistake. But that's his frame of mind when he's going to the Capri Lounge, to just not be home. You know, maybe we could talk about Tom a bit, but he's got a certain amount of pain that he's trying to figure out. And I wish that he and Mary could talk. And that's the honest truth of me after having watched the first season of this series is, and I felt this way when I first watched it, but Tom and Mary really need some way to figure out that essential problem. Yeah, they do have other problems, but this is the main one in the show, at least. So Tom not going home, and Charlie notices it, and Charlie and Loretta have a very different relationship than Tom and Mary, so I get that, but I think Charlie is giving good advice. On the other hand, I can see how Tom would feel attacked at the other end of that advice. And for me, it's very clear that Tom feels deep emotions about the things that are going on between him and Mary. And escaping them is really his method of dealing with those emotions. And I don't feel like escape is the right choice, but that is the choice that we're seeing. There's a bomb scare. I forgot about that. But apparently that is really no big deal because, you know, they can just go right back to work. Then we hit on the Shumways, and that's Martha and Kathy, who maybe have a cute little scene that explains their own points of view about the various storylines that we are seeing. Of course, Kathy's getting ready for some no-name date that she's on, and that may change soon. And the big news in this scene is that Grandpa needs to get back into counseling. And what I didn't make clear, they're not quite dating at this point, but Roberta Wallachek has stated that she's in love with Grandpa, and that's why she reacts the way that she does. Then we get a scene with Loretta and Charlie at the doctor's office, and information can move very slowly in a soap opera, but basically they are waiting to figure out why Loretta fainted in the previous episode. And Dr. Furman, I think this is the first appearance of Dr. Furman, is not super helpful. You know, he's not very good about giving any kind of helpful information, and that's frustrating to Loretta, and I can imagine that I would want to know more than what Dr. Furman was able to give. Then we see Roberta Wallachek and Grandpa Larkin have a brief meeting, which is interrupted by Fanny Cruikshank. We'll get to her in a little bit, but it is very clear to me that Roberta is harvesting a bit of a crush for Grandpa Larkin, and you know, that's a whole storyline that we could talk about for a minute, but I'm not gonna. That exchange is interrupted by Fanny Cruikshank, who appears to be a foil or a character to get in the way of Roberta's crush. Then we head over to the bar where Tom is just trying to escape his life at home, and just by chance May Alinsky walks in, and there is some chemistry between May and Tom, even if Tom hadn't expressed any interest in May in previous meetings that they had. But Tom does not want to go home and feels challenged. And I'm not saying he did the right thing. I know for sure he did the wrong thing, but he feels a spark that maybe he didn't feel at home with Mary, and he wants to prove his manhood. That's something that is very clear to me, that Tom needs to prove that he is a man to himself. Maybe this was the most immediate way to resolve that pain that Tom is feeling about his manliness. It's a huge mistake, and if you watch this series, you will see exactly how much impact it has on the Hartman relationship. But yeah, there we are. At the end of each episode of Rerun Week, I am taking a spotlight and shining it on a show that deals with mental health or other things that Mary Hartman reminds me of. And today I'd like to put that light on a show called Doom Patrol. You should be able to watch it on HBO Max. It is a superhero series in which all of the superheroes are essentially recovering from trauma. And it's fairly surreal, it's really weird, it's very entertaining, and I'm going to leave a trailer for that show right here. So if you have any interest in a wild superhero show that takes on some mental health questions, that's a show maybe you want to check out. So everyone, that is episode 2 of Rerun Week. We are going to jump into week 4 of the series tomorrow. I'm not telling you what episode we're looking at, but hey, thanks for being here. Thank you so much for not sleeping on this episode, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.